colourful printers, Chrissy here. I am really excited to do this video. I am looking at the WoW signal. Now, the WoW signal was detected on August 15, 1977 at the Ohio State University's Big Ear Radio Telescope. And the signal was circled, and next to it someone had written "wow," and the signal was 6EQUJ5. Now, it wasn't a message in itself. Each of those figures or letters represent a signal strength. They couldn't find a modulation to it, or not a known modulation. And modulations are what they use to it's what's used to transmit. So they haven't been able to figure out the modulation for transmission. And it was a narrowband radio signal. Now, if a signal is less than 10 seconds and greater than 72 seconds, it's not detectable. So for it to fall within the 10 to 72 second time frame is pretty spectacular. Yeah. Now, so there's lots of questions. Now, it was detected to come from the direction of the Sagittarius constellation, but it was actually a little bit further behind there, and it was very within the Sagittarius constellation, and it's thought to have originated from a globular cluster called M55. You'll see a map, and see if you can guess what the teapot is about by looking at the pictures at the map. You'll see what it's about. But if you saw the teapot on the front thing, you'll see a little bit later what the teapot is all about, because at the end I will be putting up a couple of slides that will show you a bit more information and show you what the teapot is all about. That's on the very front here. So after I finish speaking, stay tuned and watch the last couple of slides, and it'll give you an idea of where these signals originated, okay, or thought to have originated. Okay, so first question I want to ask about the WoW signal is, will they find the modulation for the signal so they can figure out how it was transmitted? Will they ever find that out? So what we're going to do is put down, now as I said before, modulation is how the signal is transmitted, to keep it pretty simple. If you can't figure out the signal's modulation, you're not going to be able to figure out how it was transmitted. So we'll put that there. Okay, my darlings. So let's have a look here. So I am using the Essential Tarot deck. I think it's quite apt. And just make sure it's up the right way. Strength. The Strength card flipped. So that's interesting. Will they ever find the modulation? With time and patience, I think that's the answer to that. The Strength can be all about patience and time. And so there's a good chance they will. So we'll shuffle a little bit more and we'll get a couple more questions. So the first thing is strength. Yes, strength indicating time and patience. There's infinite modulations out there, I guess. That's also what it's saying, that we have yet to find. So bring this forward here. There we go. We'll put that there. Okay. So that's the strength card. What else can we find? Next one is Two of Cups. The first thing that went through my head was they're going to narrow it down to two possible modulations. And the World. Okay, the World is a resolution card. Now, the other thing that entered my mind with the Two of Cups is a partnership. I think there's somebody, another radio telescope group of scientists that would help to be able to narrow it down for some reason. And here's a card, the World card. Beginning and ending is also one of the things with the World card is resolution. So all three of those say, yes, that eventually, and again, because these two are minor arcana, in terms of time, they're a lot longer. But we know that tarot is very vague with time. But it appears that, yes, they will eventually, and it could be, it's not going to be tomorrow. It could be 10, 20, 50 years from now. But eventually they're going to find the modulations. They'll be working with other people, and they'll be able to narrow it down to a couple of modulations and then down even more, I think. I love these cards because in the background you can see they've got stars there, so I thought they were really apt for this this reading. Despite not being able to find the modulation, it is still the strongest candidate for alien radio transmission. So one of the reasons they couldn't be more precise with the location of the signal is because of the design of the big air telescope. It made it much harder to get two signals. They only picked it up on one of the horns, they called it. It has two, and they only picked it up on one of them. If they'd have been able to pick it up on both of them, I think the horns are the thing that comes out from the satellite. I'm not quite sure. I think if they'd have been able to pick it up on both of them, they would have been able to get an even more closer fix. So, the other question, is this an alien radio transmission? Will they be able to prove that it is once they have the modulation? Is this an alien radio transmission? Knight of Swords. It's going to cause, that's a yes card. It's going to cause a bit of chaos when they do prove what the transmission is, and they will be able to eventually. They have not stopped investigating. Judgment. It's going to wake some people up. The Judgment card is often about waking people up, hearing the trumpets, and wake up. and it's going to awaken people to the reality of alien transmissions. It's going to prove it. And here it is again. Here's the partnership card again. Relationship card. It's going to change relations on Earth and the way in which people relate to each other. So yes, they will be able to prove that it is an alien radio transmission. Okay. Now, the most likely source, as they said, is this globular cluster called M255. And it is the closest star to it, the closest visible star to it is called Tau Sagittarii, represented by the T symbol. And so the next question I'm going to ask is, did the signal originate from this globular cluster? King of Cups, yes. King of Wands is yes. The Star, yes. Guidance and hope. I got it was sent with such strength to make sure it got through. It was like, so we don't give up hope. That's what I got, went through my mind. So those on this planet who believe that there are other life forms out in the universe and that we can contact and communicate with them, if not now, in the future. So we don't give up hope. That sort of bleeds in a little bit into the final question I have about this, which is, what does it mean? What is the message? But first we'll have a look at these other two kings. Emotional stability. King of Wands. Compassion and emotional. The King of Cups and the King of Wands. Emotional stability and compassion for others. I think it's sort of and leadership. I think it was sort of too sent as a bit of a test as well. How would the people in charge, the leaders in charge, react to something like this? Would they show leadership and instinctive creative energy? Would they increase their bid to reach out more? Would they maintain an emotional stability? And also, it's sort of like a testing ground, I guess. So I'm going to continue on with this, and we're going to look at, so yes, they are going to, it is coming from that globular cluster, okay? But this has bled into the next question as well. So I'll just lay cards on top of this, which is, what does the message mean? Hope, but it's also a bit of a test. What else? If they can figure out the intensities, what the different intensities mean in the signal. What is the message about? 10 of Wands, burden. Two of Cups, partnerships. Eight of Pentacles. There's still so much more we have to learn. There's a lot more work we have to do. It was a bit of a testing thing. It's interesting that the burden card landed on the King of Cups for emotional stability. Sort of sticking their toes in the water to test our ability to carry the burden of actual partnerships with other species. Shuffle the cards again and ask another layer. What else is the intent with this message? The intent, I suppose that's what I'm looking at. The intent with the message. Judgment, yeah. A wake-up call. Wake up, wake up, wake up. We are out there. So here's the Judgment card. So if we're looking at the intent of this message, it is. It's dipping into, are they ready to wake up? This is interesting. It's the Lovers card, and it's landed on the partnership card, and leadership. Is the global leadership kind and compassionate enough to be trusted to forge a relationship? Page of Cups. To test the level of emotional maturity of us as a species, and I think we've probably been found lacking a bit. There's still ways to go, I think. Some people scoffed and laughed, and and the fact that they haven't been able to find the modulation, and we're not scientifically ready either, I think. Will a clear message eventually be found? Will the signal eventually be properly decoded? But first, before I do that, frequencies, each of those 6 E Q U J 5, each of those represent a different intensity in the signal. Is it a phonetic language? No, I got no. It's mathematical. Yes. Let's have a look. Is it mathematical? 10 of Pentacles. Yes, it's legacy. Knight of Swords. Investigations. People passionate, not giving up. They're still got to do a lot of work. But they're all yes cards. They're still, I think this is generational. 7 of Swords. 5 of Swords. 6 of Wands. Wow, stolen, abused for victory. This isn't the first, I mean, it's a mathematical language. They're not ready to share the key to this language yet. Other species have shared in some way, and it's what they've given in good faith has been abused and stolen, basically, to aim for victories, for victory over others. That's what they feel, the people who originated this signal. We're still a long way, as said with the other reading. Okay, the last question I'm going to ask is, will this message eventually be decoded? Well, what went through my mind was yes, but not for a long time. Page of Pentacles. We're too disruptive. We're viewed as the disruptive children of the universal classroom. Yes, but not until we grow up a bit, I think, is until then, we're not going to be given the keys to figuring this out. Could be 5 decades, 5 centuries. Um, 50 years at a minimum. Queen of Pentacles. Resources. It's something about resources. It could lead to resources. 8 of Swords. No, we still need to be confined to our own narrow area of space, which is our solar system, and even not very far out of us in our solar system. That's the 8 of Swords. 6 of Cups. Past mistakes. Past actions, past memories, until we can atone for past actions, until we learn from past actions. And this is the 6 of Cups. I think we're going to be out in the cold and we won't be given the secret. But eventually, yes, we will be able to figure it out. But we are a long way from being there yet. Last question. Will this message change our world? 10 of Wands. Release us of a burden. Will be it will help our emotional maturity as a species, and we will be able to be admitted into a club of sorts, of wisdom and secrets, and of wisdom, secrets, and will be admitted to a store of knowledge that it's beyond what any single person could dream of here on our planet. But we're still a long way from there. Could be anywhere from 50 to 500 years. But we've got some mistakes to atone for. Oopsie daisy. Okay, here I am. That is my reading on the WoW signal. I hope you enjoyed it. Wow, it's blowing my mind away a bit. So don't forget to stay and watch for the last 14 or so seconds for the last 2 slides, and it'll show you what the teapot is. And here's an interesting word for the day: asterism. An asterism is something within something else. So that might give you a clue, but you'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Love you all, and I hope you really enjoyed this video. Bye-bye.